I am never gonna have another boyfriend. Hear me out. Having a boyfriend does not benefit women. All it does is it closes our options. It gives us nothing back. That's not your husband. He has made no promise to you. You're giving all of your time and all of your attention to someone who has given you nothing back. And if you're a woman and you want kids, your reproductive years are worth so much more than his. So I've decided I am gonna go from single to engaged. And I'm not saying I'm gonna be dating a man for 6 months and we're getting serious and I'm like going on like 3 dates a week. I'm just saying that I reserve the right to keep my options open. Until you have made me a promise, gotten down on bended knee, asked me to marry you, until you have done that, I am single. What do you think? Put it in a comment.
Great plan.
Thank you.
He likes your plan, Chief.
What do I think? Well, I think it's an excellent plan, lady, and I think you should not only go for it, you should dive in head first and do the self-respecting men of planet Earth a favor by keeping your lack of inappropriate IQ out of the human gene pool. And I think it's a fair trade, you never getting married or having kids. You're demanding a man swear a vow of eternal loyalty to you, even though you've just made it clear that you're not willing to hold yourself to the same standard. Now, I know that your imagination is just a black void where hope goes to perish, but put forth some of that energy you worship into it, and you might be able to picture this. How do you expect a man to be loyal to you when you're telling him to your face that you have no intention of being loyal to him? Men do not operate that way. If you want loyalty, you kinda sorta have to be loyal. We're kinda sticklers for that particular rule. But then again, Chadnam PI will never be loyal to you anyway, so your argument is more or less moot. Why should we settle for second best when there's a fertile woman who's ready, willing, and able? I'd ask you to think about it, but you know, you're too busy being single and I don't want to interrupt. I do fancy myself as a gentleman after all.
Good luck.
Put a finger down if you were with a guy for a year with commitment issues who told you that he needed you to hold on for a little bit because he got really badly hurt in a previous relationship where they were looking at engagement rings and thinking of having a child, and then she left him. So he wasn't ready to have you in his life fully. Because you loved him so much, you believed him and you ignored all of the red flags. You let him into your life, you let him meet your friends, let him meet your family. You used to go on weekends away together. You used to have this really nice little private secret relationship for a whole year, but it was okay because you believed that it would get better and you would eventually be in his life.
What?
Oh, I love this game. Put a finger down if you ever found yourself in a Greasy Spoon diner at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday when you realize that you can't pay for your undercooked bacon and eggs because you left your wallet in the glove box of your Deathmobile. You realize it's an honest mistake, but the waitstaff sees you get up and assume that you're going to dine and dash. Now you try to explain that your wallet is in the car, but the short order cook, who's on his 9th cup of coffee for the night, isn't having it, so he immediately goes to the dishwashing station to find the greasiest, most unclean spatula he can find to wave in your face as he threatens to give you a good thrashing for not paying for the privilege of potentially contracting trichinosis. The more you try to explain, the more onlookers are looking at you with contempt because it's clear now that cooler heads simply aren't going to prevail. Luckily, you find $5 in your pocket and hope that it's enough to make a down payment on the food you didn't eat because you didn't feel like playing Russian roulette with your colon later on that night, which is begrudgingly accepted as a compromise as the 300-pound cook looks at you with suspicion as you go to your car to get your wallet. My finger is still up, by the way.
Your friends and family start questioning you, saying, why are you listening to this guy? What is he going on about? Why are you not involved in his life? Has he got someone else? But because you're so naive and so silly and so in love with this man that you completely believe him. Then after a year, you finally realise what the hell is going on, so you start snooping. You go through his Instagram followers and there was always this one person, and this is a woman's intuition. There was always this one person that was always private. However, this one time she was not private, so you click on her Instagram and you find out, yes, in fact, he does have a secret life that he has had for the last year.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Put a finger down if you were ever at a laundromat when the owner came up and accused you of pocketing laundry detergent. Even though you have a box of suds next to your laundry and have no need to steal those overpriced sample boxes, he is convinced that you are pilfering from his business. Now, you know how this guy operates. He's done it before. So you used up the last of the space on your budget phone to record yourself bagging up your laundry, taking it to the laundromat, and proving beyond the shadow of any doubt that you weren't stealing from him. And even though this 20-minute video exonerates you completely, he still accuses you of turning invisible, walking into his back room, rummaging through the lost and found of old shirts, stealing his dryer lint, and disorganizing the quarters in the change machine. And when you finally admit defeat and humor him, he gives you a big ol' hug and says that all he wanted was the truth, and as a reward, he gifts you with 2 stale donuts and piping hot coffee that's only 6 hours old. Oddly enough, I meant to keep my finger up on that one, but somehow it ended up down.
With a 7-month-old baby, bear in mind you were talking since the June the baby was born in December, and then the woman that also lives with them, and she clearly has no idea because she thinks they're a happy family. So, a year wasted, and now you're going down the non-contact route. You've lost loads of weight, which on the plus side, breakup weight loss is great. Basically, men are trash.
What? Were you saying something? Look, I don't speak Spanish.
Put a finger down if you were ever at a well-wisher's 30th birthday party at the local arcade. You don't know this guy very well, so you figure the appropriate gift would be 20 bucks and a card. A gift to which he does not appreciate, even though you know for a fact that he didn't get you a damn thing for your birthday last year. But you ignore it because it's an arcade and it has a fully functioning Medieval Madness pinball machine. You're having a good run and you're able to get 2 free games with only 3 tokens, but Mr. Birthday Doucher is standing behind you, getting incredibly frustrated at your mad pinball skills, so he starts relentlessly taunting you about how you're ruining his birthday and how if it wasn't for you, he would have been married by now and living in a 3-bedroom ranch house with a kick-ass Trans Am that he only drives on Wednesdays. So just to shut him up, you end your streak by shaking the machine hard enough to put the stupid thing on tilt so nobody gets to play it, because there is no justice like pinball justice. The finger's half down on this one. I can neither confirm nor deny that the story is true thanks to litigation, but if it did happen, then that poopmonger sure as hell deserved it.
Hell yeah!
In California, I get told I'm a 6. But this man at a truck stop in Dallas just told me he would take me home to meet his mama. So I think that means I'm a 10 somewhere, right?
What's that, shit? It's a shit smell. Is that you? Smells like papa.
Woman, according to my hyper-scientific formula for measuring the numerical value of a woman, I have determined that your number is negative 62.974, and this is powered by the science, and the science is never wrong. Now, the base number for your worth is a solid 5. Not good, but not great. But when we take into account that you're lying about your encounter, it doesn't help you much. But if that was it, then your value would hover around a negative 4. But after doing some social media sleuthing, you weren't just lying, you were also intentionally omitting certain facts about that business of internet spice mining you're into. Here's what we found.
Okay, so I think we all just need to clarify something. If you ever get a text from me that says, "Sorry, I was in the shower," I did it so that you would think about me naked.
So one time I had a guy tell me that it hurt because it was so tight. Is that true? Is there such thing as too tight? If you struggle using a salt grinder like I do, I just learned that the trick is to make sure you are gripping it as tight as you go.
So, yeah, the value stands, and that number is permanent. The calculator is spoken, and this isn't any form of calculator. This is endorsed by the accounting prowess of the intergalactic space god Igor Moborchard, all hail, and his numerical perfection, all hail, and has deemed you a heretic and must be dealt with swiftly for the sake of all mankind. And you brought it all on yourself, sister. All hail.
Sometimes you have to break up in order for things to work out, and I don't mean take a break, I mean actually break up. My boyfriend and I were in a rut and broke up and didn't speak for months. We focused solely on ourselves and went full-blown no contact. He called me out of the blue wanting to meet up, and while I missed him, I had still fully moved on and planned a whole life without him. But I could immediately tell that we were going to get back together, which was definitely not on my bingo card. It was clear that our connection hadn't faded, and we've been happier and healthier ever since, which might not have happened without the reset.
Well, something about that is just downright unsettling.
Is anybody else here deeply unsettled over the fact that she's cooking French toast? French toast used to be a sacred breakfast dish, at least in my eyes. Back when I was a kid, French toast was one of the best dishes you could ever eat for breakfast. But now it seems that modern women are weaponizing this syrup-drenched dream meal and claiming it for their own stupid breakup stories. Woman, you need to leave the French toast out of this. It's incredibly stupid to think that you could just break up with a guy and then turn around and expect him to take you back later on. You're not taking his feelings into account when you do this. All you're doing is twisting the knife and making things worse. And that man's not going to be the same when you broke up with them. Especially if you went out and had some post-breakup fun and ended up cooking Chad some of that French toast in the morning, hoping that you can win him over with your mediocrity. But no, we won't allow you to take the good name of French toast, woman. There are some things you don't do, and ruining the glory of French toast ranks fairly close to the top of that list. And we shouldn't stand idly by and allow this kind of behavior. Let's make French toast sacred again, gentlemen and gents. This will not stand.
No! No, 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 no! No! No, 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 no! No! Not this f***ing time! No f***ing way! No f***ing way! No f***ing way! No f***ing way!
Here are 5 f***ed up things that guys do that girls low-key like. When he's mean to the world but nice to her. On a base level, women like it when a guy is rude to everyone or doesn't really smile with anyone, but when it comes to her, he's all sweet and smiley because now she knows it actually means something. Because if he was just nice to everyone, it wouldn't be worthwhile. Number 2 is when he's narcissistic. A guy who's self-centered is in many ways attractive. Because the thing about a guy who has a healthy dose of narcissism is that he never doubts himself. This is a very attractive quality that most men don't have.
You don't know what words mean, do you?
You know, I hate to break it to you, sister, but a man that doesn't doubt himself, takes charge, and makes strong decisions isn't a narcissist. That means he's confident. But you're so damaged and messed up that you confuse this with a man who's full of himself to the point of being toxic. I mean, come on, a healthy dose of narcissism? That's like saying a man is only a man if he takes in a healthy amount of cigarettes. It doesn't work that way. If a man is showing you some vulnerability and treating you with kindness as he shuts off that side to the world, that means he trusts you. If he's confident in his decisions to the point where you're trusting him, that means he is masculine. But what's really messed up is that you find these traits to be inherently bad to begin with. Imagine going through so much damage that when you finally meet a confident masculine man who treats you with respect, he is still considered a bad guy. It's no wonder why so many men have checked out. It seems no matter what we do, we will always be seen as a negative.
The third one is argumentative. Girls don't like it when their guy is a passive little bitch. If something's wrong, she wants you to stand up for yourself and her. Number 4 is having a capacity for violence. Now let me explain. Now this doesn't mean girls want a guy who gets into fights 24/7, but she has to know that you could f*** someone up if they stepped out of line.
Whoa.
Oh, for crying out loud, woman, you're describing traits in a healthy masculine man, but distorting the qualities to the point where you will interpret them as toxic. You are describing a confident masculine man who can fight if he's ever forced to defend himself. But in your eyes, you will see this as a capacity for violence. And that makes no sense. That's only because you want a bad boy. And even when you have a self-respecting man who's suffering from an irreparable brain concussion, you must view this man as toxic no matter what. Your fantasy will always take priority over reality itself. Even when you have a man who treats you with respect, you still need to see something that isn't there. Because in the eyes of a modern woman, reality is the enemy. And she will do everything she possibly can to avoid reality no matter what. She can't help herself. Her life is just one gigantic movie. A boring, pointless, 80-year-long movie that goes absolutely nowhere except cringe.
Alright, last one, hear me out. Ruthlessness gets the job done. At the end of the day, people respect results, not just intentions. Many girls find it sexy when their guy's on the phone negotiating or criticizing his employees for fucking up. Not in a rude way, but a good leader has to make tough decisions. In conclusion, you have to understand this. Women would much rather be with a winner than a guy who's nice and tries his best, but ultimately loses. Mainstream dating advice and media won't tell you this, but I will. Let me know if these are valid below and follow for more.
What? Ah.
So let's keep score here. A confident masculine man who can defend himself, treats you with kindness, and calls out his employees for incompetence are all toxic traits that women love in a man. And anybody else is just a nice guy loser. Woman, let's just be serious for a second here. Those men do not want you. You think you're some sort of a sage, but all you're doing is villainizing men already more than they're villainized by mainstream media. Now don't get me wrong, I love bantering like a villain, and some of those guys have incredibly cool powers like exploding pumpkins, freeze rays, and my personal favorite, being able to mimic the skills of any adversary just by watching them. But at the end of the day, I'm not a villain. I'm just a regular dude who calls out women for being massive hypocrites. And the sad part is that might actually be considered a superpower in today's internet society. But I'd rather have that superpower than a used-up cat lady in training who's so broken that she can't tell the difference between masculinity and abuse. But hey, what the hell do I know? I only possess the superpower known as common sense. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and leave a couple of comments and share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.